Yo, it's your boy Logos, and with me uploading again to the channel, I want to make sure I incorporate things I really love and like. I love video games, and also love Blizzard, well, old Blizzard, but I still love World of Warcraft. Always have since 6th grade, even when nobody else I knew was playing it. I'm not a type of gamer that just bots in. I play every genre, honestly. Strategy, shooter, sports, RPG, MMOs, turn-based now, like almost everything I play it. And even though there seem to be some stereotype about black guys or like in sports and shooters, at least me personally, I know I'm not one of them. And I love Blizzard, or I used to, so I really want to go into this video to see the deeper history and get my own thoughts and opinion on it. If you like this type of stuff, let me know, and I'll do more of it. Let's get into it.
The year is 2023, and a once beloved game developer's reputation is in absolute freefall.
Yep.
What was at one point probably the highest rated developer in the industry, a studio that pumped out classic after classic, has now become the home of incomprehensible horror. Corporate greed, broken promises, botched releases, stolen breast milk. This is the story of Blizzard Entertainment. The year is 1991, and three guys have just graduated from the University of California. Alan Adham, Michael Morhaime, and Frank Pierce. They get together to create a game development studio in Irvine called Silicon and Synapse. The name is deeply philosophical and well thought out,
I like
with
it.
Silicon representing the building block of a computer, and Synapse the building block of a brain. However, people keep mistaking the silicon part for the material in breast implants. Anyway, they spent the first few years porting games to different systems, but soon begin producing their own original games, with The Lost Vikings in 1992 and Rock and Roll Racing in 1993.
A couple days ago, I did an upload about modern gaming, and if it sucks now, I do think one aspect of gaming that has changed, and is mostly seen in indie develop now, is just, I don't know, just passionate video game players making their own content and own games just for the love of it, and then become successful. Now it feels more corporate. Now it feels more about just milking all the money out of you that it can. And I don't know, when I was a kid, it wasn't like that. And I'm not like an old head or anything. I'm only like 28. So I wasn't around for very early Blizzard. But even so, I can see the difference. Like the art style of early Warcraft compared to now, it's night and day. It's like Lord of the Rings and Teletubbies. Like, it's a joke.
Eventually, they get sick of constantly being mixed up with women's breasts, so they decide to switch things up, changing their name to Chaos Studios. However, a company based in Florida already has the trademark, and they're now asking for $100,000.
That should be surprising.
They then decide to change the studio's name to Ogre Studios. But in 1994, they're acquired by a holding company for a few $1 million. And turns out, their new owners aren't a fan of the new name. Okay,
It's ugly.
so they flip through a dictionary. And, my god, there it is. In 1994, Blizzard releases their first self-published title, a real-time strategy game called Warcraft Orcs and Humans. And it's an instant success. It's one of the earliest real-time strategy games to hit shelves, and
I didn't play this. Like I said, I'm too young to be of when this came out. When I was like growing up, I was playing Age of Empires 2 and games like that. So that's why more of I grew up on. And I still play RTS now.
a blast. It also has a modem and LAN multiplayer, meaning people can get together and go ham. And the game does well, selling 100,000 copies in the first year. And for the first time, Blizzard Entertainment is profitable. They follow it up with Warcraft 2 in 1995. It's another home run. Critically acclaimed, and now selling over 1 million copies in its first year. Nice. It's now 1996, and a company called Condor Games is looking for a publisher for their nearly complete game, Diablo. Blizzard has a little look, and they like. So they buy them and rename them Blizzard North. It's also at this point that Blizzard notices something. Warcraft 2 had picked up a lasting online player base, mostly through third-party networks that connected players over this magic new thing called the internet. So they decide to make their own, Battle.net. Its original functionality is very simple, with the ability for players to chat to each other and search for a match. But on December 31st, 1996, it launches alongside Diablo, and people log on and play. Diablo is a massive hit. Also,
and I can imagine, like back in this time period, how like groundbreaking that was, having everybody to be able to connect on one platform, owned by the studio, so you know it's more safe and protected. And you could just game with your buddies and play this amazing game. Like I don't have friends that like RTS or like other genres, but yeah, I know just playing with your buddies strategy games like this, you could play for hours and hours and hours on them. I know because I played Rome Total War 2, basically all the Total Wars basically, and I have like thousands and thousands of hours just playing single player games and playing the mods. So back in this time period, and that Battle.net, which has, you know, evolved into what it is now, that was very groundbreaking. I can see why.
selling over 1 million copies within its first year. In 1998, Blizzard launches StarCraft, an RTS set in space. It sells bigly and quickly grows a massive esports scene. Diablo 2 launches in 2000, another smash hit. It reaches almost 3 million sales by the end of the year, becoming the fastest selling PC game of all time. In 2002, Warcraft is back, and now it has an extra dimension. Warcraft 3 sells 1 million units in just 1 month, immediately becoming the new fastest selling PC game. It also releases with a campaign editor, which spawns a series of popular mods like Defense of the Ancients. And
let me know in the comments if buying a remaster is worth it. I've never played Warcraft, like the RTS version, only the MMO. So I have no idea. I played RTS before, but I just never tried Warcraft. So it's because how old it was, so I know they did a remaster, which came out to be trash when it first came out. So maybe they did updates, other things to fine tune it, make it more playable and more presentable. I don't know. Let me know in the comments and I'll check it out after I finish Sith Lords.
After its expansion in 2003, it's all hands on deck for Blizzard's next project. The year is 2004, and Blizzard is getting ready to release its biggest game yet. They'd seen how big MMOs like EverQuest were getting and thought they'd try their hand. And after $60 million and 5 years of work, it's finally nearing release. And in November 2004, World of Warcraft launches. And it takes the world by storm, smashing even Blizzard's forecasts. There are so many players trying to log on in the first week that their servers have a complete meltdown, with server queues reaching the thousands. Get past the queues.
Unfortunately, with every expansion, that only continued. It is so sad, like, with how successful, how many players Warcraft got. Constantly having server queues over and over again. Just so annoying, man. And it's still happening from my understanding.
Actually into a game, well, now you're greeted with a ton of latency issues and a probable disconnection, meaning you're now back on that queue screen. After the initial server problems are ironed out and people can actually play, the game sucks people in en masse. Fans are very enthusiastic. It hoovers up awards left, right and centre, and sells a ton of copies, reaching almost 6 million sales by the end of its first year. World of Warcraft isn't like your average game though. Instead of simply buying a copy, players have to pay a $15 monthly subscription fee to play. 6 million times 15 every month, and Blizzard isn't doing too badly. Everyone is playing the game, and its ads go on to feature a ton of celebrities.
I'm Chuck Norris, and I approve this game.
And others like Vin Diesel, William Shatner, Henry Cavill, Mila Kunis, and Dave Chappelle announce their addictions in various interviews.
I didn't know Dave Chappelle played Warcraft. That's what's up. See, Dave Chappelle has always been my favorite comedian, even from like early high school, as soon as I discovered him. So, him playing Warcraft and liking it too, okay, that just makes sense. No, oh yeah, I forgot to say, one of the reasons why I got into Warcraft, I was watching G4 TV cheat and they did a video on World of Warcraft: The Burning Crusade, and getting, I think it was like the chicken pet and something else. But I don't know, something about it just wanted me to get into the game. And of course, you had the Night Elf Mohawk commotion. I'm sorry, Night Elf Mohawk commercials with what's the name? Mr. T. Yeah, with Mr. T. That got me into the game too. And then I found Val Hobbs. Watching him tank like those huge packs and whole dungeons with like a paladin and the shield. And then the flaming shield, that got me into it too. I don't know, all that stuff just made me really love the game and want to try it out. And then I started watching Tally, and then that's how I got into Twitch. So World of Warcraft was like a big like impression on me growing up, and I still love it. Still keep up with the lore to a certain degree because the lore is really damn good. Illidan is one of my favorite fictional characters. Same with Varian, same with Malfurion. There were some really cool characters in lore in World of Warcraft. At least it was until the last couple of years or so, but still, man, it still can be really, really good.
World of Warcraft is everywhere.
God fucking damn it!
World of Warcraft
Such
would
that was
also
one of the
result in
best
the launch of
episodes of South Park.
BlizzCon in 2005, a massive annual convention that would feature big musical acts and announcements for Blizzard's future games. Fans could also ask the devs questions, and were sometimes even featured. At this point, Blizzard is among the all-time greats of gaming. Every game a smash hit. They could do no wrong. But first, flying a plane is easy. Just get in, flip a few switches, and you're off. But in War Thunder, it's even easier
I'ma just skip
and a
this.
ton of fun. Jump into intense PvP. Warcraft has almost 10 million active subscribers in 2006. World of Warcraft has almost 10 million active subscribers and is bringing in a ton of money. So naturally, it had turned a few heads. One of those heads, Bobby Kotick, CEO of Activision. Now in 2006, Activision had made good tracks in just about every genre of games, except one. And one that was now booming, the MMO. With Warcraft currently bringing in over $1 billion a year in subscriptions alone, he's interested. Now at this point, Blizzard has changed hands numerous times, and is now owned by a company called Vivendi. So Kotick approaches Vivendi with a proposition. Vivendi receives money, Activision receives Blizzard. However, Vivendi says no. Instead, Vivendi offers to merge their gaming subdivision with Activision, with Vivendi owning a majority share in the resulting company. And after a brief hesitation from Kotick, in 2008, the deal closes. Activision Blizzard opens its doors with Kotick as CEO, and Activision and Blizzard, now its two subsidiaries. Blizzard would supposedly retain most of its autonomy and keep their CEO, co-founder Michael Morhaime. It's now 2010, and Blizzard has gone from just under 500 employees before the launch of World of Warcraft to now over 4,600, the majority of whom are preparing for the launch of StarCraft 2 in July, and the third major Warcraft expansion, Cataclysm, in December.
Some people really didn't like Cataclysm, but I don't know, me personally, I did love it because it changed the world, it evolved the questing. Now, people say that the questing in the original Warcraft was better. I think that's just preference, but I don't know, I like seeing the world evolve within the stuff that I'm watching or the content I'm watching. Game of Thrones, when there's a war, you can see it change through the peasantry, through the background, people decision making. I don't know. Seeing a raid boss that's supposed to be changing the world and trying to destroy it, actually do some very good damage to it that is lasting. I don't know, me personally, I like seeing that. Now, I'm not saying that Arthas didn't do much with the plague and all that stuff, but I'm just saying, seeing the continent split, the trailer was really good. I liked it. And Cataclysm, its trailer was in my top 5. It's still in my top 5 favorite trailers.
Now these launches were not small. Warcraft had been hitting peak after peak of players, and was now at 12 million monthly subscribers, and StarCraft 2's sales projections are also sizable. But Blizzard currently has a problem. Their forums. They're a little bit toxic.
Yeah.
Blizzard has a big team of moderators, but according to them, this still wasn't enough. So behind the scenes, they get brainstorming, and someone has a brilliant idea. How about we just force everyone that posts on our forums to use their real first and last name?
That is a terrible idea.
And in July 2010, Real ID is unveiled, and people absolutely hate it. So in an attempt to sell the idea to players, Blizzard's community manager posts his full name on the forum. See
What?
guys, it's fine. But almost instantly, people descend on the forum and get to work. And within mere minutes, they find and publish his home address, phone number, age, Facebook, family names, and a list of his favourite music and movies.
Exactly. Like, oh my goodness. Like, if the forums are already toxic and there's so much to do that you can't keep track of it, when people piss each other off, whether it's disagreements about who's better, who's stronger, you stole my item, like people get in full-on fights about, now of course not fist fight because of computer, but arguments, destroy groups or guilds over items and drops and rolls. Like, and you gonna put people's public names or real life names on there so you can look them up, dox them, and try to harm them and go to their house? Most people ain't gonna do anything, but all it takes is one psycho to shoot somebody up because they took their mount or they took their drop on Invincible or something. Like, it's just a really dumb idea. And he's a brave guy for putting this first to say, like, oh, it's safe, but like, also at the same time, it's pretty dumb. I'm sorry they made you the guinea pig for their dumbass idea.
Okay, you know what? Fair enough. And after just a few days of being announced, Real ID is scrapped entirely. By 2009, the Warcraft 3 mod Defense of the Ancients had gained a significant following, and had even spawned a whole new genre of games, MOBAs. For much of that time, Blizzard had paid little attention to the mod or the game, but the success of the recently launched League of Legends could no longer be ignored, and Blizzard finally steps in, starting work on their take on the genre, titled Blizzard Dota. Around the same time, and Valve wants to make their own MOBA. They'd hired the head dev of the original Dota mod, snapped up the Dota trademark, and they're calling their new game Dota 2. Blizzard is furious. So in 2012, they file a statement of opposition, arguing that the name Defense of the Ancients was associated exclusively with Warcraft due to it being made in their map editor. However, this argument has issues. See, the mod was created in Warcraft 3's map editor, but that map editor had no specific terms and conditions on ownership of said maps, IP, and concepts. They end up settling out of court a few months after, with Valve getting the commercial rights to the term Dota, and Dota 2 releases in 2012. It's massively successful, and goes on to be an esports giant. Blizzard gets non-commercial use of the title for its community, and renames Blizzard Dota to Heroes of the Storm, which releases in 2015.
Which is dead
and supporters
now.
Can
A
3
dead
years later.
game.
Blizzard would change its licensing agreement.
And that's the thing. Like, I've tried it like maybe 2 or 3 times. I played Heroes of the Storm because I love Warcraft so much. It just wasn't that fun. And honestly, I'm not a very much of a mobile type of player. I play Smite because that's not top down. I don't have to keep clicking. I have to get the last hit on the minions. I could just kill the minions. I could go down my lanes. I could focus on working with my team. Plus, it used Greek, Asian, African, Caribbean, like mythology from all across the world, which I love. I love mythology. I have mythology tattoos, so there it is. So I love playing Smite, but Smite is that's just one occurrence. I don't like these types of games. I understand why they're popular. I like watching it. I'll watch casual stream like the championships and the playoffs and the competitions. I like seeing the top quality players play. I like good competition, like mini sports, but I don't know. I couldn't get into Heroes of the Storm. And clearly a lot of people couldn't either. Or they didn't give a shit to fix it.
for all future games to include their ownership of player-created maps in an attempt to avoid this ever happening again. It's 2012, and the massively anticipated sequel to Diablo 2 is looking like it's releasing this year. Its development had been a bit rocky, with its dev team, Blizzard North, being canned in 2005, along with their version of the game. But on the 15th of May 2012, the rebooted Diablo III launches. The game is horrendous. For one, its launch is horrific. The game is online only, and turns out there are massive server issues. People are spamming their log.
This was that dumb era of gaming when Xbox, PlayStation wanted to make everybody always online, and the game was backlash against it, and then they changed their mind. Well, I think Xbox announced it. Sony announced that they wouldn't be doing that, and then that led to Sony dominating that era of the console war. Like, I got a PS4 instead of Xbox One, and I was an Xbox fanboy since I was a kid. I had an Xbox 360, grew up on Halo and Gears of War. I had a PlayStation 2 for a little bit, but I really didn't play it that much. I love my 360, but I got a PS4. Never got an Xbox One, haven't got an Xbox since the 360. They fucked up.
Details over and over, only to be kicked out by Error 37. What's worse, there's no queue system in place, so you have to manually retry every minute. This issue takes over a week to fix. Then there's the auction house. Here, loot can be bought and sold using your mum's credit card. Activision Blizzard gets filthy rich, while the balancing gets obliterated.
It only got worse. The pay-to-win aspect in gaming only got worse since then. But yeah, I could just go and buy the shit off the auction house. I don't have to farm. I don't have to sell my items. I don't have to make trades. I can just get the best items that's available. If I have a lot of money, I don't want to play that game, because at that point it's like you're detaching me from the world of your game, because I'm supposed to be engrossed or ingrained in your environment, the setting that you built, the story that you made up. I shouldn't be thinking about real life, my credit card, and I need to go get my credit card. I should be focused on doing my character, playing my character, going through the quest, getting stronger, and make myself slowly stronger to get that item or get to the point where I don't even need it, because I'm that good. I shouldn't have to buy it. I shouldn't have to pay to be stronger than everybody else.
Endgame content is also essentially non-existent. However, the game sells almost 4 million copies in its first 24 hours, and over time, slowly makes a turnaround. In 2014, the real money auction house is closed, and Blizzard launches Reaper of Souls, an add-on praised almost unanimously. They're ready to make a second add-on to the game, but management says no. Apparently, executives see the game as a massive failure and demand devs jump ship.
What?
The year is now 2015. The past 10 years had seen massive expansions to Warcraft, including controversial changes to the game and its mechanics, and player numbers reflect that, now being in steep decline. A growing number of players long to go back to the days of vanilla, version 1 of the game.
And they would eventually do that. And leading up until the point of vanilla release, developers, people from Blizzard and Warcraft team were saying, you don't want that, you don't know how bad it was, it's just nostalgia. Well, clearly that's not true, because I was successful. They re-released Classic, which is what, they call it now, going back to no expansions, and the original World of Warcraft Classic. They've done that like at least 2 or 3 times now. They've done like little spin-offs or like mini expansions for Classic, like Seasons of Discovery, Season of Mastery. So clearly they was wrong, and clearly they found a way to make a lot of money off of it and get some players back. A lot of players they lost because people felt it was too gimmicky now. The game was too easy, it was too casual, it was too complicated, too many abilities, too many buttons, too much bloat, stuff like that, which hasn't been fixed since.
In 2004, one fan even floats the idea to Blizzard themselves at BlizzCon 2013. Here's how that goes.
Have you ever thought about adding servers for previous expansions as they were then?
Yep, see?
No.
Okay then, we'll just make one
No.
ourselves. And the fan-made Nostalrius vanilla
Yep.
server goes online in February 20.
I don't know if I played this one, but I played different private servers, especially the Lich King one. I forgot what's the most popular one. But yeah, I played those, and that's how I still get into World of Warcraft nowadays, because I don't want to play the modern expansions. I don't think they're worth the money. I don't think they're really for me. I don't think they're that fun. I think they're too kiddie. I want more old school. I want more like Voodoo. I want more of the Warcraft into the world, not just, I don't know, fairies and feminine dragons and all this other bullshit. I want war. Send the title of the fucking game.
15, running version 1.12, a month after the original launch. It's not long before the server gets massively popular, with almost 1 million accounts registered. It's also not long before Blizzard catches wind and brings the hammer down. Their lawyers sent them a cease and desist in 2016, and the server is promptly shut down. Realizing they were completely wrong about vanilla Warcraft, Blizzard do a full 180 and announce Warcraft Classic in 2017. Back in 2007, Blizzard started work on a huge MMO called Project Titan. It was described as a combination of Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress, and The Sims. But development led nowhere, and 6 years later, the plug is pulled. A massive failure on Blizzard's part, and a major internal embarrassment. However, the team behind it would attempt to rework the remains of the story and assets into another project, and in 2016, Overwatch hits shelves.
Yes.
And it's amazing.
It's fucking... Original Overwatch was so good, man. It lived up to the hype. I remember watching Tally talk about like the heroes and characters leading up to the release, because it was close with like the Blizzard team and the company, so I was able to get like sneak previews like with like Turborn. His name always messed me up, but other characters like Tracer and him and other people like that. Man, Overwatch used to be so good, man. I bought it on release. I pre-ordered Overwatch. That's how confident I was. I still remember going into Overstop, GameStop to get my pre-order, downloading it. It was so fun, man. It was so good. The maps was good. It had just enough like players, or like the team account was enough. There was no weird metas or anything like that. It wasn't cheesy. It was just straight up fun, and all the characters were fun, man. Like original Overwatch was like, it was lightning in the bottle. I can't express how fun the game was in the first year or so. The background, the lore of the characters was cool. Like everything was cool. The loot boxes, what would happen when you play really good and you get the flame like aura around your character icon or screen. It was so good.
It's critically acclaimed across the board and massively popular, quickly becoming one of the most popular esports titles on the market. That, paired with their genre pioneering card game Hearthstone back in 2014,
that was also pretty
that
good.
was almost 100 million players, and Blizzard is looking strong.
I liked Hearthstone too. I ain't played a lot. I played maybe like 5 to 10 times, and maybe like at least a few matches each. But at least for me, it seemed like after a certain point, I fell behind, and my cards wasn't good as everybody else's, and I didn't know as much as everybody else, so I just fell behind in terms of skill and knowledge. And then I just didn't care to play anymore. But when I did play it, it was fun. I like those types of games because it's just strategy. I like tactics and strategy and stuff like that.
However, there are problems brewing. See, Overwatch was the last big game they'd had in the pipeline for a while, and they realised they don't have much to show off for BlizzCon 2018. So Blizzard rushes to find something to show off. Got it. Fast forward to November 2018, and their presentation is ready to go. They sprinkle a few niche announcements here and there, like a remastered Warcraft 3, but they have one big announcement centerpiece. after 6 long years, a brand new Diablo. For mobile.
It's like, look, Diablo 2, come play the mobile game that has nothing to do.
I'm amazed, honestly. It's this bad. This
Ass
is fucking
man,
insane.
the Roach
I
King.
don't even know like what to even say about this.
Just was wondering, is this an out-of-season April Fool's joke?
We don't
He's
have
pissed.
any plans at the moment to do PC.
That's so. I don't understand. Why would you do that? Money, but still, like, why would you just piss off your fan base? All of your games are PC games. Your company is built on PC games. Diablo it's like built for PC. I know they put on Xbox, but still. I know you want the microtransactions. I know you want the phone money. But they already have the credit card already attached to their wallet, to their Google account, or their app store. I know you want it to be that quick and easy to get the money like that. I know that's what you want, you snaky little fucks. But God, like, come on, man. What, you don't have phones? Little twat.
Do you guys not have phones? Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
The game eventually launches, and it's bad.
I don't-
Firstly,
I
it's
don't
not even
listen. I love video games. But even me, I set a limit. I don't play video games or games on my phone because I just need to. If I can play them on my PC, that means I just need to take a break and do something else. I'll read a book if I need to. If I've got an appointment, like a doctor's appointment, I'll bring a book. Or I go to DMV, I'll bring a book in my headphones. Like, I don't want to always be gaming. I feel like sometimes it's just good to take a break so you can have other passions, like history or whatever the hell you like. But that's just me. So I would be pissed if I love Diablo and they put this shit on the fucking phone on me. I'm gonna watch a little bit more, then I'm gonna cut it in half and do the other half later.
developed by Blizzard, but their Chinese partner NetEase. And turns out, it's monetized to the tits.
Yep.
It costs over $500,000 to max out a single character, and becomes the worst
Damn.
rated game ever on Metacritic. By 2018, fans are noticing something. Activision Blizzard had been creeping, and Blizzard was changing. See, back in 2013, Activision had bought back the remaining Vivendi shares for about $7 billion, meaning they, and by extension, Bobby Kotick, now had complete control of both Activision and Blizzard. Fast forward to 2018, and this creeping had only got worse. Because of the slowdown in game releases, Blizzard's revenues are taking an absolute nosedive. So Activision steps in. It pushes the company to cut costs, and gets them to produce games at a faster pace, with Kotick apparently installing his own executives within Blizzard to ensure that happens. Apparently, tired of Activision's meddling, Blizzard co-founder Mike Morhaime steps down as president and CEO, and leaves the company after 27 years of work. He's succeeded by Warcraft's executive producer, J. Allen Brack. This guy.
And by the way, you don't want to do that either. You think you do, but you don't.
And as soon as this happens, we accelerate. The company immediately prioritizes cutting costs, and the Heroes of the Storm's development team is outright annihilated. Its esports league is also scrapped right before its 2019 season. As a result, entire teams, commentators, and support staff are suddenly left jobless.
Okay, I'm gonna pause right here because I know now is where we're gonna get into the really bad stuff with Blizzard, and it completely fell off. Or it's gonna be like the titty milk stuff, or the breast milk stuff, the harassment, all that evil stuff. I think the free Hong Kong, and a few other things these morons, Bobby Kotick, his greed that he did to destroy this company, to where now I don't even recognize it anymore. I don't even mess with their games anymore. I don't play Warcraft, at least not the new expansions, and I don't play Overwatch. I play their biggest competitor, and where it's taken their spot, Marvel Rivals. And especially with Blade coming out, I'm playing that a lot more. But it really is sad. Blizzard used to be great, and if they could have been maintaining or at least not completely fall apart, we could have got some great expansions, some great games and content. who knows? Maybe we actually got Overwatch 2 PvE, or probably they just added it on to Overwatch 1 and then screw it up. I don't know. It really is stupid. Stuff they change up with the writing of Warcraft and the expansions, taking stuff out, moving stuff out so it could be more politically correct. Just BS, man. Just straight up BS. I could tolerate the pandas. I could tolerate some other nonsense in the game. To certain extent, I could tolerate the monetization. But when you take out the part when Garwash calls Sylvanas a bitch, where she is most definitely a bitch, I got a problem with that. Because we're not saying that because she's a woman. We're saying because that's how she acts. And she acts like that on purpose. And she's a good character because of that. Oh, God. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. This is part 1. I'm going to do part 2 pretty soon. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Peace.